deception is the only thing that you seem to know. And you thought that you'd be safe in your tower, insulated from the people below. But the truth has undermined your foundation by so many people now in the know.
All right, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of God's creation.
You won't be trusted anymore.
All right. Well, welcome to the Thursday edition, October 30th, 2025 edition of the WTF Reports. And I'm your host, vonKleist. And my gosh, there's so much to get to today. Right off the bat, of course, today is the day that 3-eye Atlas is coming out from behind the sun. And a whole bunch of people all over the world have been watching and waiting and trying to see what this thing is. And it's strangely silent. Yeah, there's not too many people. Oh, there's nothing to see here. Yeah, there was no change in the trajectory or the velocity or anything like that. It's just a rock moving through. That's it. And in other news, yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what's gonna happen with that. I personally, I think that there's something to this. I really do. There's just too many things that are too strange about this thing. And like I said, when NASA shuts down and they don't want to let information out, that means, hey, look at, maybe there's something there that they don't want you to see. So we'll just have to keep our eyes open. Lots of stuff coming down the pike. Of course, tomorrow is Halloween. Yes, that's the holy day of all the Satanists. And I hate to think of some of the things that will be going on behind the scenes and in dark rooms. But hopefully if we can all stay in prayer and try to shed light and goodness, maybe we can counteract that negativity, all that bad bugaboo stuff. Anyway, where do I start today? I'm going to sound like a shotgun blast of information, but there's so much going on. Right off the bat, yesterday I was talking about a land purchase that was made by Zelenski. And anyway, I have an audio clip here, and I forget who it was. Was it Cynthia who called in? Says, I want more information. Well, here, we can give a listen to this, and you can put the puzzle pieces together. Give a listen to this.
Of almost mythical scale has just closed in the heart of the American West. TheWTFreports Ltd., a Cyprus-based company owned by Vladimir Zelenski, has purchased the Pathfinder Ranches in Wyoming, a property so vast it's bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island and over 4 times the size of New York City. At more than 916,000 acres, Pathfinder Ranches stretches across 4 Wyoming counties: Natrona, Carbon, Sweetwater, and Fremont. To put that in perspective, the fictional Dutton family's ranch in the hit TV series Yellowstone is said to span about 700,000 acres. Pathfinder Ranches is 20% larger. The seller, Salmons Enterprises, was represented by Swan Land Company based in Bozeman, Montana, with brokers Scott Williams and Michael Swan leading the transaction. The buyer, TheWTFreports Limited, a company owned by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenski, was represented by Hall & Hall, one of the nation's premier ranch brokerages.
Where do you suppose Zelensky got all that money from to make a purchase like that? 900,000 acres, 930,000 acres? My goodness. Well, we've been sending billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars over to Zelensky in Ukraine. Isn't it interesting that members of his cabinet and stuff like that are making purchases of, mansions and stuff like that? Of course, he must be doing a really great business over there. Well, he is. He's milking us. We are sending billions of dollars over there, and what are they doing with it? Buying land. How stupid do we have to be? Anyway, who's another big purchaser of land? Bill Gates, maybe? Whitney Webb had this to say about this whole thing about the climate change and the purchase of land. Because Bill Gates buys all this land, And, of course, he's pushing this climate change thing and the carbon footprint. We got too much carbon dioxide. We got to do something about that. Well, wait a second. Trees breathe carbon dioxide, and they give us oxygen in return. I learned that in junior high school. So I would think to solve the carbon problem, the CO2 problem, we need more trees. But no, he wants to buy all this land and cut all the trees down and get us locked into some technology that doesn't seem to work. Here's Whitney Webb.
Why don't they talk about planting trees? Why isn't Bill Gates the largest, private landowner in the U.S. now, planting trees like crazy if he's so worried about carbon dioxide? He poo-poos the whole idea of planting trees as a way to combat climate change. It's just carbon markets and going to electric vehicles and all of this stuff. But electric vehicles necessitates mass mining, and a lot of that mining is in places that use child labor, or it's going to be so environmentally destructive you totally destroy the developing world, which these people on the left supposedly want to protect. You're going to totally destroy the environment. But really, what it's about is controlling how much energy people can use, and if you control how much energy a household can use, you can control their economic activity. You also control how big their family can get. It's fear-driven to get people to accept policies they otherwise wouldn't accept because they're told this cataclysmic event is just down the line. And trust us, again, is the conclusion of that. There's people that agree with the narrative about climate change, and there's people that don't. And I'm not trying to really get in that space when I talk about this stuff. I'm trying to point out that the solutions are coming mostly from Wall Street. And then you have people like Larry Fink of BlackRock and Michael Bloomberg and Mark Carney coming together in something like GFAN saying, why don't we give Wall Street direct control of the IMF and the World Bank for climate change?
Right.
How can anyone on the left that's worried about climate change sign off on that? Yeah, that's a good question. How can anybody sign off on that? And and the thing is, Whitney, it's not just the left, it's a lot of people on the right as well, because you cannot make an informed decision without information. And the people who control the dissemination of the information have their own agenda. I mean, this is not hard to figure out. This is not rocket science, folks. And this is why yours truly has been screaming about the mainstream media for 3 decades, because they form public opinion. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So if people, and I don't care, again, on your right, on the left, if you're getting your news from the mainstream legacy media, then you're being sold a bill of goods. They're filling your brain with horse hockey, snake snot, and bull crap. And again, you can't make an informed decision without information. So this is why I encourage people to do your own research. I come to this show here, I try to provide you with the audio receipts and food for thought. Reasons to get busy and go out there and do some digging on your own. Because you're sure as heck not going to get the truth from the mainstream media. They are there for one purpose and one purpose only. That's to mold general opinion and instill a lot of fear. Fear. Yeah, scare. Anyway, all right, so those are a couple things I wanted to get to. Yesterday was talking about this land grab Zelensky is involved with. So there are some of the details. And, the brokerage firm is right here in the state of Montana. Isn't that amazing? Okay, in other news, and this being a little bit more consistent about the control of the media, there's a lot of folks out there that are saying, well, Israel is controlling so much of our media, and that we have restrictions on our freedom of speech. You can't say anything negative about a particular country, and if you criticize them, well, then you get, there are consequences, shall we say. Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, Bibi Netanyahu was acting surprised. What do you mean? You have restrictions on what you can say? What? Really? Listen to this.
You're regulated? By what? You should have the freedom to say whatever you want, to talk whatever you want. I didn't realize there's regulation on podcasts.
Oh, yeah?
Our policies are industry-leading in protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms.
Okay, I'm going to pause that for a second. Let's give that a listen again, all right?
You're regulated? By what? You should have the freedom to say whatever you want, to talk whatever you want. I didn't realize there's regulation on podcasts.
Yeah, really? Oh, really? Well, according to Jordana Cutler, she's a Zionist strategist and Meta policy chief, Meta, that's Zuckerberg. All right. What does she have to say? Oh, there's no regulations? There's no restrictions? Oh, really? Jordana, why don't you explain that for us?
I am living out the Zionist dream. I have been at Meta for almost 9 years. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or
Oh, you banned content saying Zionists run the world. Oh, that's interesting.
control the media.
Yeah, and they control the media? I think we need to hear that again.
I am living out the Zionist dream. I have been at Meta for almost 9 years. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media.
Yeah. Why would you ban that? Because that's the truth. It really is. Say that again.
Say that again?
Yeah, right. Anyway, so yeah, they're talking out of both sides of their mouths. They really are. I just wanted to share that with you. They can tell you that, oh no, we would never regulate what you hear. We're not going to censor anything. We're not going to dox or regulate or, do anything like that. We would never do that because we have morals. Right. By the way, speaking of morals, here's what Benjamin Netanyahu said. This is going back about 15 years. Okay? This is how he feels about morality. Listen to this.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains.
Wash their brains. Brainwash. What else, Bibi?
Tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
What? Disregard all the rules of morality. They have their agenda, and they will use it, and they will brainwash. He said it himself. You got to wash their brains. That's your manipulation right there. It's funny. As a matter of fact, they keep saying that they're God's chosen people, but a lot of people are saying, well, which God are you talking about? Because my God had 10 commandments, and one of them said, thou shalt not murder. Yeah, I know some people say thou shalt not kill, but no, the original word was murder. There's a big difference between murdering somebody and killing somebody. Okay, I mean, if it was thou shalt not kill, where do you think King David is right now? Okay, or any of the sons of Jacob, or all the people who fought a godly war. I don't think that they're all burning in hell. However, if you murder people, innocent people, that's a different story altogether. But there was one girl that posted this. And again, I have to ask the question, if you're God's chosen people, which God do you serve? Because your actions are not the actions of somebody that serves my God. Listen to this.
I find it funny that a lot of Muslim people are named Muhammad. Obviously, Muslim parents are naming their kids after the Prophet. But you don't see many Christian people naming their kids Jesus. You don't see many Israeli people naming their kids Satan.
Oh, my goodness. People are catching on. They really are. They're understanding, where the origins of some of the beliefs of the Talmudic Jews, the Ashkenazi, the Khazars. And if you haven't done research on that, again, I recommend the documentary, The Greatest Show on Earth, Part 3. You can find it at lionfilms.tv. I suggest you watch it. I got to laugh at some of this stuff, because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. But more and more people are starting to get with the program. Let me see. There's a Canadian woman who posted the following. She came to the United States about 1.5 years ago, and being observant, she posted the following. Listen to this.
Hello, Canadian, living in America. Been here about 1.5 years. I have my own little mission on the go where I try to understand the people that hate your current administration the most. And today I have a message specifically for them. Now, I came to America with an open mind. Now, when I moved here, I believed that this country was built on freedom of speech, individuality, and respect for differing opinions. And what I learned pretty quickly is that there is far too many of you that believe that only those freedoms should apply to you and only you. And then within a second of somebody thinking differently than you, you will mock them, you will try to cancel them, and you will shut them out. You can't treat people like garbage and then expect them to stand beside you. That is not how unity works. You say that you're the party of tolerance, but you've also created this culture where if somebody doesn't agree with you, then they're automatically sexist, racist, or uneducated. You say that you're all for inclusion, but you exclude half of the country because they voted differently than you. You preach that you're all about kindness and empathy, but you can also cheer when conservatives lose their jobs or, I don't know, their life. You say that love wins, but you harass and cancel anybody who thinks differently than you. You love to say, my body, my choice for abortions, but then you call people murderers when they don't want to get a vaccine. You say that you need to protect democracy, but you're all for censoring people on social media just because they think differently than you. You scream that you're standing up for women, but you're also changing the definition of woman. You say that you're standing up for women, but you also want men in women's sports. You also want little boys to change in front of little girls. And if you don't agree with that, then you say that people are transphobic. You say that you're fighting for the working class, but you can also mock truckers and farmers and blue-collared workers whenever they think differently than you. You say that no human is illegal, but that is also the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard because I followed all of the laws and legislation that this country had in place so that I didn't break the law. But you're supporting people who legitimately break the law by coming into the country illegally. You can't claim to be the party of compassion when you're straight up cheering when your political opponents suffer. You can't call yourself the party of tolerance when you shut down anyone who thinks differently than you. You can't say that you're protecting democracy while trying to silence half of your country. As somebody that's new to this country, please let me relay this message for you. You're not losing people because they're brainwashed or extremist. You're losing them because you've forgotten how to listen, you have forgotten basic respect, and you've also forgotten how to disagree without being hateful. And all of this is coming from a newcomer who genuinely believes that you can do better.
Good points made. Very good points made. Anyway, okay, let's take a quick break. Here we go.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now, the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And of course, you can get more tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page, and it'll take you down to an area where you can click on the Get More Tank window, and it'll give you all the specifications and details on how and why this fuel catalyst works. It's not an additive, it's a catalyst. It changes the way your fuel burns, cleans out your engine, gives you more power, and after a couple of tanks, you will see an increase in your mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20%, depending, of course, on your model, make, and year of vehicle and your driving habits. But the bottom line here is that you will have an increase in your mileage, and that translates to money in your pocket. $20 when you use the promo code REDPILL101. You'll get it for $20. You get 5 tablets. And after you've conditioned your engine, the first application, you put 2 tablets into a tank of gas. After that, it's 1 tablet per tank. So when you get 5 tablets for $20, if you're getting 20% better mileage, that means the 5th tank is free. Do the math. It's stupid simple. It really is. So, yeah, go to our website, TheWTFReports, and get more tank. You'll be glad that you did. Anyway, and also, check out the Wave Watch. I got to tell you, I'm getting on in years, and I've had a couple of bouts with kidney stones, and they're no fun. As a matter of fact, I spent my 50th birthday in the hospital with kidney stones, and I don't want to go through that again. No, sir. Like I said, that wasn't the first, and there's been a second and third time I've had to deal with them. So anyway, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I started getting this feeling right on my right side, in the back, right where that kidney is. And I'm saying, oh no, am I getting another kidney stone? Ugh. Anyway, I talked to my doctor about it. He just said, hey, cranberry juice, organic cranberry juice and lots of water. Hopefully you'll pass this. So anyway, I got my Wave Watch, and I put it in the program there's kidney wellness and kidney support. So I've been running those two programs and those frequencies, and I got to tell you, folks, I mean, this past weekend, this is when I started it, and within a day and a half, 2 days, the pain started to go away. Now, I still have something niggling me there. It could be inflamed. Maybe it's just sore, but it certainly isn't getting worse. It's actually getting better. So, yeah, this thing works. This Wave Watch, as far as I'm concerned, this is my own personal, experience with this. I've had other people, I loaned it to a friend of mine who had back pain, and after about 2 weeks, I got my Wave Watch back, and they said that the pain was gone. So this thing helps. Now, I'm not here to say it's going to cure or treat anything. Okay, this is for your entertainment and educational purposes only. But you really need to do some research on the Rife technology, Rife frequencies, and why this is based on Tesla technology and why it works. So check out the Wave Watch. Again, that's at our website, TheWTFReports.com. Okay. All right, a little promo material there. And by the way, I do appreciate those of you who are supporting the broadcast. And very shortly, I'm expecting a delivery today for a new mixer. I'm going to get a digital mixer so I could start adding video. So we're going to grow the broadcast, and if you want to help us do so, do some business with our advertisers. Maybe pick up some merch. We got the WTF Reports baseball caps, T-shirts, and coffee mugs. And, that helps us to keep the lights on here. So a donation is always good. So, all right, let me see. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. And, if you want to call in, you're welcome to do so. The number here is 215-867-8255. All right, changing gears. I want to review a couple of audio clips I shared with you earlier this week to set the stage for what appears to be an explosive, shall we say, revelation in regard to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, I do want to remind you that it's been 7 weeks now since Charlie was assassinated, and I find it really curious. They're all pushing this Tyler Robinson guy. He's the guilty guy, and remember, he had a boyfriend who was in the process of getting ready to transition, okay, which is kind of strange, and that guy's name is Lance Twiggs. But you know something? Lance Twiggs disappeared a week after the assassination. Nobody knows where he is. He's been gone, off the radar now for 6 weeks. Let that settle in. What the heck? Wait a minute. Why is that? How is that possible? And the FBI wants to do a great investigation. Remember what Kash Patel said, and this is why a lot of people are saying, Kash, What WTF? Why are you holding back on this? Now, again, this is Kash Patel. Listen to what he says.
I think that the militant transition...
Okay, well, that's not him. That's an interviewer. But and then you're going to hear his voice shortly.
Charlie Kirk was killed. I mean, you guys at breakneck speed found this guy. You identified him. You profiled the type of person that he would be.
Yeah, 33 hours. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It was John Solomon on Real America's Voice, and I forget the woman's name that you're hearing right here. But listen to what Kash Patel's response was.
And that's incredible. Is there more evidence that you guys can offer to people, maybe video from that roof? Do you expect that there will be more to be released?
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there, the video from the roof. Why don't they back that video up about 3 to 5 seconds? Because that would show the quote-unquote shooter, Tyler Robinson, taking the shot. No, they're not showing you that part. They cut that part so you just see him running across the roof. That in itself is extremely suspicious. You would think that if they had a video of him actually taking the shot, they would share that. But no. All right, Kash, what are your priorities in solving this case?
I think the best thing we can do for Charlie, especially me as FBI director and our team, is to prosecute this case in the courts of law. Okay,
prosecute it. That's his key. That is his goal. Prosecute. Doesn't say anything about justice. Just get it prosecuted. Tyler Robinson's a bad guy. He shot Charlie. Let's prosecute him, execute him, turn the page, move on. Nothing to see here. That's his priority, is to prosecute the case.
It is in Utah in the state of court of law. And what we're going to do is what we've done. Give them every piece of evidence we collect. Our cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours.
How many hours? 33. 33. Yeah, that's a magic number. If you know, you know.
And every single piece of video or forensic evidence or witness interview, we've done dozens and dozens, gone on these platforms, found every single person. All of that material, and I know this is frustrating to the public, and I understand it, but I'm not going to allow the Charlie Kirk prosecution to be dismantled because we want to get over our skis and publicize information. That is the one thing you cannot do. We will make everything public in court. It just takes time.
It does. Yeah, it always does in these cases. Is there any possibility that other people were involved? When you talked at the White House, I sort of got a little inkling that maybe you're looking at other people.
We're looking at everyone that was there, that was online, and we're looking to refer these matters to the state prosecution authorities when there's enough evidence.
Okay, I'm going to pause it again. Now, this is crime solving 101. All right. When you come upon a crime scene, you look at all of the evidence, and then you have to try to put the puzzle pieces together. All right. So you have to come up with a theory. Yeah, you have to come up with some sort of an idea what happened. All right. And that means you have to theorize. Yeah. You have to use that word theory. Yeah, it's an idea, a concept, a supposition. Okay? This is how you solve a crime. You got to come up with all the different possibilities, all the different possible theories, and work it out. But you see, they don't like that.
The reality is, again, with social media, when you have hysterical conspiracy theories.
Hysterical conspiracy theories. Oh, they're not just theories. They're hysterical conspiracy theories. I think we all are seeing now what is the driving force behind Cash's investigation. He doesn't want to get to the bottom of what happened. He wants to prosecute the case, get Tyler Robinson found guilty so we can just move on.
Filling the void, you're harming Charlie and his family and a rightful prosecution.
Oh, you're going to harm Charlie and his family if you think outside of the cage. If you don't go along with the official narrative, you're going to hurt Charlie and his family. You see how that works?
Of his alleged assassin, who we have in custody, and rightly so, in my opinion.
Okay, the alleged custody suspect that we have in custody. Yep. Pat yourself on the back there, Cash.
And if anyone helped him, do you think that we at this FBI are literally going to let them get away with it?
Absolutely you are.
Us standing silent in the face of growing conspiracy theories, that's what we do to shut down a faulty prosecution. That's what we do to shut down a system of justice that wants to be exploited by these same anarchists. And that's what they're...
Oh, so if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're an anarchist? Are you seeing Cash show his true colors here, folks? This is not hard to figure out.
They're bringing it to social media. They're bringing it online for clickbait, and we're not going to take it. We don't care what you say about me or Dan Bongino or anyone in leadership at the FBI. They're just going to keep doing the work.
Okay, so are you getting the message here? Did you get the memo? I guess there are a lot of social media influencers that did get the memo. As a matter of fact, I'm really disappointed in Megyn Kelly because she was on board. She's been on board and on point for a lot of stuff. But now, since Charlie was assassinated live on television for millions to see, listen, if they're doing this publicly, they're doing it for a reason. To do it publicly. They want everybody to see what happens to you when you step out of line. That's the way I see it. And I think Megyn got the memo.
So I don't listen to Candace's show, but I am 100% convinced that Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who murdered him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans issue.
Okay, so he's a crazed leftist. Again, you've heard me talk about this before. A civil war is when you've got the right versus the left, or vice versa. Okay? I mean, they want, the powers that be want us hating on each other. They want blacks against whites, against Hispanics, against Orientals. They want, everybody fighting against each other. And that's a horizontal conflict. That does no good for humanity. What we need is a vertical revolution. There's a difference. Civil war is horizontal. Revolution is vertical. Okay, now I'm not saying that we should have a violent revolution. I don't want violence. But somehow we've got to understand that there are people up at the top that are pulling the strings to create a horizontal conflict. They want a civil war. And they're doing everything that they can to foment that. Well, we have to recognize that and think outside of the cage. Anyway, so Megyn Kelly is on board 100%. You heard her. That Tyler Robinson is the guilty party. Well, maybe she got the message. And like I said, Charlie's public assassination was sending a message to anyone who dares to step away from the narrative.
That is my firm belief after having talked to the people at Turning Point, the FBI, the security team that was on the ground, and many others.
Okay, Turning Point, FBI, and security teams. That's how she formed her opinion. Okay, so FBI, okay, I don't trust them as far as I could throw a bus for the reasons that we just heard from Kash Patel. His concern is to just prosecute the case. It's not about justice, not about finding out who really did it, the individuals who were involved. No, you got to prosecute the case. And now Megyn Kelly is basically on board with that. Now, I don't know what happened, but maybe she got the memo.
And I've come to that with a good faith basis, and I have nothing that would shake me from it.
Nothing? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put that clip aside here, but you basically see where this is going. There are a lot of social media influencers that all of a sudden now are on board because they don't want to have happen to them what happened to Charlie. So, but there are folks out there that are going to continue to dig. And well, they should. And this is why I support Candace Owens. She may not be 100% correct. And yeah, I believe that she's going through horrendous pressure right now. She's taking a lot of hits, and there are people hating on her on all the social media platforms. But she's been bringing forward a lot of information that should make you say, WTF. And it's not just her. It's Ian Carroll, okay, Ryan Mata, okay, TPV Sean. As a matter of fact, I got a good one here. Well, before I get to that, let's again take a look at this whole thing with Mikey McCoy. All right, everybody's talking about this. They're running the video of Mikey McCoy, who was to Charlie's left, or if you're looking at the video, it would be on the right side of Charlie. But he was about 8 to 10 feet away. And he had the phone in his hand. And as soon as the shot rang out, in less than a second, Mikey McCoy, supposedly Charlie's number one guy, his right-hand guy, you would think that he would jump to Charlie's aid, say, oh my God, Charlie. But no, in less than a second, he turned and walked away. He went behind the tent, and he's seen walking off on the other, you could see behind the tent, and then he comes out the other side, and he's walking away. He keeps walking, too. He doesn't come back to check on his best friend. There's something that stinks about that. And then, of course, his dad, Rob McCoy, made the following statement. Listen to this.
I'm looking at my son who's 24 years old. Justin's the CFO, chief financial officer, and Mikey's the chief of staff. And I'm watching, the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray. I said, okay, son. He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him.
Whoa, he had blood all over him. No, he didn't. We got the video. Why would he say that? So we have to stop and say, okay, who is this guy, Rob McCoy? Well, Candace Owens been doing a bunch of digging. Yeah, he was up to his eyeballs in I think it was the Navy, in psychological operations. Isn't that interesting? And the People's Voice, which is a platform, and this guy Sean has been reporting on this, and he's uncovering a lot. As a matter of fact, there is an insider from Turning Point USA who has come forward and shared the following information. Listen to this.
According to a Turning Point USA insider, Erika Kirk has not been accepted by the rank and file within the organisation. Even worse, they're investigating her background and her family ties. And more than one three-letter agency is featuring prominently in the results.
So, when Erika Kirk came in as leader, I don't even know how to explain it. The vibe just shifted. Like, instantly. She walks into a room and everyone goes quiet.
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second because this is the whistleblower on camera, but they have the face blotted out. It's all in silhouette. And also they did some changes to the voice track, so that's why it sounds a little weird. So let's listen some more.
It's not that she's mean or anything. It's more like she's studying you. You can feel it. And then she starts bringing in all these new people. Total unknowns. No social media, no LinkedIn, no nothing. It's like they just appeared. Everyone in the office is joking, well, half joking, that they're all spooks. And honestly, it fits. One guy even answered the phone once using some weird call sign, then laughed it off like, oh, that's what my buddies used to call me in college. Sure, dude. So people start digging around just to see who we're really working with, and it gets creepy fast. Her mom works for some Israeli defense firm, something to do with missile systems, like the Iron Dome level stuff. Her dad literally wrote the book about how to integrate private companies into the intelligence community. And Erika, she loves to brag about her connections. She'll say stuff in meetings like, if I want to know something about someone, I can have it by morning. Mossad doesn't sleep. Then
Mossad doesn't sleep. Interesting.
She'll flash that megawatt smile like she's joking, but she's not. Everyone knows she's not. There was this one time after a fundraiser in DC, she's talking to this intern, right? And she goes, you sure you want to text that? I could find out who she's talking to in 3 minutes. He laughs. Like he's trying to play it cool, but you could tell he was freaked out. We all were. Does she actually work for them? I mean, yeah, everyone thinks so. She's hinted at it herself. And now, the whole office feels wired. Slack channels are dead. People don't say what they're thinking anymore. Everyone's paranoid, like the walls are listening. Maybe they are.
Whoa, maybe they are. So yeah, people are coming forward. That's one whistleblower from Turning Point USA. And here's another one who came out a few days ago.
The connections between the CIA and the Charlie Kirk assassination are too obvious to ignore. Using Tyler Robinson as a patsy, former agents are now admitting it has all the hallmarks of an intelligence operation.
CIA whistleblowers all admitting that this has all the hallmarks of a CIA or intel operation. But
okay, that's Clayton Morris adding his 2 cents. So it's not just, Sean from TPUSA. It's not just Candace Owens. It's not just Ryan Mata. It's not just Ian Carroll. It's not just Dave Smith. There are lots and lots and lots of very prominent, very intelligent people who are looking at this entire situation saying this thing stinks of a state-sponsored assassination.
It's becoming crystal clear that the CIA and the three-letter agency connections to the Charlie Kirk assassination are growing too obvious to ignore at this point. Use Tyler Robinson as a patsy, use a convenient trans cover story, admit that you have overwhelming digital data that you present during a court hearing yesterday.
The three-letter agencies aren't joking about how much digital intel they've gathered on Tyler Robinson and his trans partner Lance Twiggs. They've been watching closely. But here's the twist. The very data they've collected proves that these two were already on their radar. And that changes everything. More on that in a moment. But first, if you've been watching this channel, you'll know that Turning Point USA insiders have been telling us the organisation has been quietly infiltrated, taken over, by intelligence operatives. Under Erika Kirk's leadership, a new era has begun. One where spies and handlers pull strings behind the scenes, shaping narratives and controlling outcomes. This didn't happen overnight. The groundwork was laid years ago. According to those on the inside, the hallways have been crawling with the spooks for years.
Yep. And it's not like yours truly hasn't been talking about that since this assassination. And I know a lot of other people are thinking outside of the cage as well. It just doesn't make sense for it not to be this way. And the official story is just so full of gaping holes. Everybody knows. I mean, well, maybe not everybody. If you're getting your news from the legacy mainstream media, then you don't know doodly squat. This is why it's so important to gather as much information that you can, make your own decisions, what makes sense, okay, and use critical thinking skills. I know that those are probably pretty much illegal these days to think outside the cage, but that's the only way you're going to find the truth. They keep saying, you've heard the saying, the truth is never easy to find. Well, if that's true, how easy is it for you to sit on your butt and channel surf through the mainstream networks? It's pretty doggone easy. So if the truth is never easy to find, and it's that easy to fill your brain with intellectual fecal matter from the mainstream legacy media, how much truth could there be? Obviously, not a lot. If the truth is never easy to find, then you got to work hard to find it. And that's what a lot of these social media individuals are doing. They're digging and digging and digging and finding out all these connections. And speaking of, this Tyler Robinson guy and his gay, soon-to-be transitioning boyfriend, Lance Twiggs, who's disappeared, I just mentioned a few minutes ago, it's really interesting because people were doing searches on those two individuals several years ago. Really? I mean, most people had never heard of Tyler Robinson until the assassination, and certainly never heard of Lance Twiggs. Well, then why is it that certain entities were doing searches on those two names several years ago? Yeah. Israel did a search for those names. So did Washington. And there's a guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he's been doing a lot of research on when people get searched. You can go in and put in different names and see when that name has been searched and who searched it. So, and a lot of the people who are connected with this Charlie Kirk assassination, whether they be coroners or doctors at the hospital that he was taken to, I mean, these searches are tracing back to either Washington, D.C. or Israel. Now, that's curious. Okay, we shouldn't talk about that. No, because it was Tyler Robinson, case closed, shut up, move on, nothing to see here. Anyway, I look at it, am I nuts? No, I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid, and I don't lie. And I'll stand by that. I've been standing by that for decades. So I just try to encourage people to have some guts, think outside of the cage, and we'll get to the bottom of this someday. But a lot of stuff has got to hit the fan in between now and then. Anyway, we got a few minutes. If you want to call in, this would be a good time to do it. The phone number here is 215-867-8255. And again, I broadcast live from 2:05 until 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And, okay, let's see. That worked. Okay, caller, you're on the air. Boy, they didn't waste any time. Who is this?
It's Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
It's Carolyn in California. I had my hand on the trigger, actually. Ooh, I should have said that. No pun intended there.
Okay.
Sure. Hey, Megan, I have never known her to stand down, ever, about anything. I mean, she apologized once, something back when.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, to me, what makes it so obvious is their firm stance. Like, for her to say, nothing's going to convince you, like you're not open as a journalist for more information?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Cash? What about Cash, too? As in his position, we're sure. And by the way, the guy that was standing, the bodyguard, or his best friend, standing behind, when you said he walked away, you know what came to my mind? No, he didn't walk away. He slithered away.
Okay, good
That's
choice.
how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just expressing my support for your view. You look at, like you said, the people that are getting attacked. It's just so obvious, and then you do the immediate cleanup afterwards. There's too many obvious signs for the. Okay, my jaw dropped when when was it Cash that called us? What did he call us?
Hysterical conspiracy theorists. Hysterical.
Okay, there was that one. Yeah, hysterical. Okay, my jaw dropped in, and then was the other one. So we are the what do they call the it starts with an A. So we're the people that are the
anarchists.
After that, yeah,
anarchists.
So he's calling us and Tucker Carlson. That I'm just in shock. So I'm just expressing my feelings. And like I said, I think it's what's making it. When you play that clip off Cash, to me, it's cementing that he's not going to pursue it. That's the narrative, and stick to it, like you said. So I think I'm very, very respectful, and look at Candace as a lion, and the one about there's no question about it. I mean, everybody's questioning Erika just by looking at her speaking. I would get the creeps and go, "Whoa, that is just not real." Mm-hmm. So thanks for your reporting, man. I don't want to say too much. Go ahead and take over the show.
Well, let me ask your opinion. Do you think that Erika Kirk is a modern day Mata Hari?
Okay. Define your definition of Mata Hari.
Okay, in the Second World War, there were broadcasts by they were the Japanese, and they were broadcasting, how do I say this, propaganda to the troops, trying to turn them around, et cetera, et cetera.
And send the beauty in?
Yeah.
Like Mata Hari, like send someone, go ahead.
Okay, no, somebody's just calling in and they're on, I just put them on hold. Oh, and they just disconnected. Are you still there? Oh, what happened here? Did I lose you? Oh gosh, I'm bad at this. Let me see here. How did I do that? I'm so sorry if I disconnected. Let's see. Nope, that's not working. Anyway, I tell you what, call me right back. I screwed up and I disconnected you. Anyway, sorry about that. So no, Mata Hari is, like I said, during World War II, it was sort of a female voice that was out there to basically, there we go, a female voice to basically destroy the morale of our troops. And in other words, a traitor. So, okay, caller.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, it's Carolyn again because I somehow got put on hold. So, yeah, I do believe. I don't question it one bit at all. Absolutely. I mean, not knowing, but it's just going on instinct and the basics of just the little bit that's there speaks volume. I mean, the way that she did that she's holding up. I saw it was a video, and she was basically one of those that could detect somebody lying or acting. And she broke apart her first speech and how she was touching Charlie's chair and the pretend crying, and dabbing her eye, like all rehearsed. So you can't. The eye sees what it sees, and here's what and you hear what you hear, and just the basics, man. It's like if they wanted to really pull this off, they should have at least had an ambulance. Maybe it accidentally got a flat tire, but at least kind of make the show look halfway remotely believable.
Well, yeah, I mean, the TPUSA staff would not cooperate with the local police. They wanted their own security. And there were a whole bunch of new people involved in the TPUSA security team. And
maybe that's part of that crew, that new crew that's coming in.
Yeah.
I think that they have been there the whole time, and basically the snakes came out. And the snakes came out.
Well, a lot of...
the person that they used potentially, the person that they potentially used in Charlie to build them up that much, and now that they don't need him anymore, he's getting in the way. It's obvious to me.
Well, also, we have to look at Erika Kirk's background. And I would suggest, dear listener, go out there and do a search, Erika Kirk, Romania, child sex trafficking. Do a search. You're going to find some very shocking information about Erika Kirk and an organization she was involved with in Romania, and the people who were involved in that organization supposedly to help homeless children. And you'll find out that the people involved in this organization were involved in child trafficking. So, yeah, there's a nasty piece of toilet paper stuck to Erika's shoe. That's just one of several.
That's very, very true. And she's hiding behind her beauty and that smile. The smile can make you sick. Just looking at it sometimes. And on the note of Israel, too, J.D. Vance was, I heard him responding to a question about Israel and who's if Trump's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing, I'm finding nobody's mentioning the APAC payments.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I just feel is like, that's not coming up in the questions. It's not being addressed. And then they brought up Palantir, and JD kind of sidestepped it, meaning that he's not associated with Palantir. And I'm like, and I'm listening going, bring up the fact that Trump had dinner with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I appreciate your reporting. It's very frustrating.
Well, it is frustrating because, the people that we come to trust in them, we find out that we've been betrayed. And that's a lot of people that supported Trump and were part of MAGA. I mean, they're finding out now that, hey, guess what? They're not going to do what they said they were going to do. Kash Patel will release the Epstein files on day one. Pam Bondi on day one. Yeah, it ain't going to happen.
And the show before this one, the NG show, these guys are really spot on the majority of everything, but they're blocked. I think they have that kind of, in love with Trump kind of syndrome where they're kind of like blind.
Yeah, can you get closer to your microphone? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Is this better?
Oh, much better. Oh, thank you.
Oh, man, sorry about that. Thanks for the correction there. Sorry about that. My point is that there's a show prior to this, or other journalists that dive deep into this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're in denial, in my opinion, that it's like they can't. What I guess I'm confused about is you have to question the people that are saying hook, line, sinker. Kash Patel, even now Megan, this other show, is in denial that, like, whoa, look at this guy. Like, you have to keep an open mind here. And so for them to say that we're hysterical theorists, it's like, whoa, Kash Patel, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel very threatened by that statement.
Absolutely. I do too. I mean, it's really strange when people ask questions and then some folks get upset about those questions. You have to ask yourself, why are people upset about asking questions? I faced that same crap when during the 9/11 investigation. I was on the front lines. You probably know my background, the documentaries, blah, blah. And I was taking a lot of heat because, they were saying, if you don't know what that is, you shouldn't talk about it. And I said, if we don't talk about it, we never will know what it is. So,
I remember that thing. Oh, yeah, I saw that clip, that one particular one that you played. I'm like, whoa. And that was Glenn Beck. I was like, oh, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking, and that's
even in the trenches.
And that's 20 years ago,
Yeah, you've
so
been in the trenches a long time.
I know, it's so frustrating. It really is.
I know.
So, but anyway, okay, well,
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your support for the broadcast. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we're flat out of time here. There she goes. All right, very good. Oh, man, the hour goes by so quickly, doesn't it? It sure does. Anyway, that said, it's time to hit this button. There it is. All right, folks, I so much appreciate your listenership. I really do. And if you're listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, please, pretty please, with sugar on it, click like, click share, click subscribe, and more importantly, spread the word. Word of mouth is the best advertising. I have fun doing the show. I hope you have fun listening to it. And I do appreciate your support. And please do business with our sponsors. That's how we keep the lights on. All right, that said, it's going to wrap it up for today's installment of the WTF Reports. Again, thank you for listening. So, Until tomorrow, stay safe, stay free. God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You won't be trusted. You won't be trusted. You won't be trusted anymore.